Hi everyone, we are Group A and we have Jason and Ben in our group. So, have you guys watched the movie Imitation Game, cast by Benedict Cumberbatch, telling a story about the British mathematician Alan Turing creating a computer to break the German code? The calculation ability of the machine he creates is so powerful, even the best mathematician itself couldn't compete with it. And then the computer changed our lives hugely. The progress of technology never stops, and the next stage is coming, the stage of DNA. The topic we are going to talk about is biochips, which is very helpful to break the code inside our body. Here's our contents and the part one introduction. So, what is the chip? Uh, we often relate the chips to like the computers or calculators with a small size and make the calculation work very accurately and quickly. And usually just one machine can do the whole calculation easy and compute and compared to the microchip in computer, the human calculation is very costly and often make mistakes. And we often spend too much time on the calculation. Like if you saw the movie, you can remind the clip from the imitation game. The mathematician spent too much time to break the code, and by the time they broke, the German army had have changed the code pattern, and it is very difficult for us to cooperate very smoothly. So, what is the biochip? Similar to the chips in the computer, they both process a huge amount of information at the same time, and they all minimizing the size itself. The difference between them is that the biochips focus on the process of biotic information. It can interact with biomolecules like DNA, proteins, which can make the experiment easier for the researchers. There's two typical types of biochips. One is gene, and another is lab on a chip. Let's move on. And the gene biochips is mainly about testing the gene expression, which is like a feature that makes your nose bigger or makes your blonde hair or the black hair. Another is about finding the gene sequence. It's like a code inside our body. Uh, the gene sequence itself is arrangement itself is uh, like a message, and if we break the code, we can get the message inside the gene sequence. And the gene biochip can really helpful. Uh, the second one is lab on a chip biochip, and it's more focused on finish the process with one chip, and it also minimizing the material cost because you can bring the result with only few materials, and it also work very fast and work of precision. And part two is like how it works. I want to focus on the gene biochip. There's the traditionally you need to detect the specific gene to understand the expression. Although it works, the necessary condition is that the other genes are already broken, and the gene humans have found out is more than 20,000 kinds. And also, the experiment is conducted by machine arms, so the process takes a long time to complete. Therefore, we can say that it is an efficient way to do so compared to the traditional way. The Biochip uses the method that scans the whole gene at a time. The principle behind the method is that they pair the nitrogens to identify the type of specific gene, just like what we learned from high school. The adenine pairs with thymine, and guanine pairs with threonine. And the application is that they put thousands of probes, which is a kind of detector copied from DNA, into gene biochips to interact with the target cell and collect the data. Every probe can represent a specific gene sequence, so it can easily check whether the cell has the gene we are looking for using the principle we mentioned at last page. Therefore, we can collect the massive amount of data at a time and need no more than a chip.
Hello teacher, I'm Jason. And after the introduction of biochip, we know that biochip is a set of diminished microarrays that allow many experiments to be executed at the same time. In this part, I would like to bring some notable examples. Let's look at three applications and how they are used in life and business. Firstly, diagnosis of infectious diseases. During the coronavirus pandemic, researchers in Taiwan have developed a high-speed test for COVID-19. The electric charge in the semiconductor changes as the virus RNA flows through the circuit, which allows the biochip to detect if a test sample has the virus. And the biggest advantage of this biochip is that it can obtain a very accurate result within several minutes, and it doesn't need to be analyzed in a laboratory compared to PCR testing. In addition to COVID-19, many of other diseases can also be detected by similar ways. Secondly, a change the future of payments. Biochips can be used for storing personal, medical, and financial information. Therefore, in Sweden, more than 4,000 people have already inserted biochips into their hands, allows them to pay for their day-to-day expenses. And biochips makes their lives more convenient. For example, accessing their homes and office. Biochips can also be used to store emergency contact details, social media profile, or e-tickets for rail journeys. The third application is medical implementation. Biochips consist of millions of biosensors, which act as microreactors used for detecting particular analytes. It can be used in various fields such as blood pressure sensor, oxygen sensor, or glucose detector in the medical field. And with biochip, patients and doctors immediately get the information in order to optimize treatment. It can reduce unnecessary hospital visits and enable self-management of health. In conclusion, biochips can be used for a variety of applications, such as tracking a person or an animal, storing information, detecting chemical agents, etc. Advanced applications of biochips include genome mapping, environmental monitoring, and disease diagnostics. And this is the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening.